Spider-Man 2 is the sequel to the 2012 reboot The Amazing Spider-Man, with Andrew Garfield reprising his role and Mark Webb returning as the director and most of the cast from the last movie coming back with a few additions here and there. It picks up pretty much where the last one left off. Peter's adjusted to his part as Spider-Man. He's having a blast as Spider-Man. He's trying to keep his relationship stable with Gwen Stacy, and along the way he encounters certain forces behind the scenes at Oscorp, so to speak, and we finally get the untold story aspect that was promised to us in the last movie, but they didn't show it to us. And he encounters certain villains like Electro or Max Dillon and Harry Osborn, who will later become the Green Goblin. Those of you who have seen my reviews of the previous Spider-Man movies, you could probably tell that I thought The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was just a disappointment among many other reasons. That, what else can I say? But despite that, I was willing to give the sequel a chance. But then, as more trailers came out and more news came out about the movie, going into it, I got really worried because it felt like it was going to be Spider-Man 3 all over again. The Green Goblin was going to be in there, the Rhino, Electro. Oh, that was not a good sign. But I tried to stay as optimistic as I could. I would consider myself a big Spider-Man fan. I've read some of the comics, even though I'm not really well versed in them. I read enough to say that I'm a fan. I've watched the animated series from the 90s. Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but it's fun. I even have some of the video games, ones that are based on the original movies, and I got Shattered Dimensions, and I played Web of Shadows and the PS1 game from the year 2000 or something like that. And I'm even a big fan of the first two Sam Raimi films, and they're some of among my favorite superhero films of all time. Yes, hardcore fans, I thought Tobey was great as Spider-Man. Deal with it. And going into this movie, I was a little skeptical, but I was hopeful. Walking out of it, oh, man. I know I'm going to get so much hate for this, but you know what? I really don't care. But let's get the positives out of the way. It's nice to see the colorful tone back after so long. It's more fun. And it's nice to see the classic Spidey costume back, because that costume from the last movie... Ugh. I do like the actors in the movie, despite the fact that this script is not really good enough for them to live up to their potential, but I do admire them for trying. And sometimes some of the action sequences, such as with Spider-Man swinging through the city, mostly in the beginning part of the movie, I'll get to that later, but it's really cool, and it really just made me go, whoa, whoa, wow! But unfortunately, that's not enough to save the movie. Like with last time, it suffers from the exact same problems. I've never really been that big of a fan of this Peter Parker. I mean, Andrew Garfield, he's a really good actor. I don't think he's bad. He has promise, but I think his performance is hugely overrated, and I feel like they're simply praising him simply because he cracks jokes more often in the costume, and he made the web shooters, and he's more cocky. Congratulations.
That's great!
He's not bad in the role or anything, but I just personally think his performance is overrated. Him as Peter Parker, half the time he seems nice and upstanding, but then the other half...
Yeah, you! Mine! Everything my way! Fuck everyone else! Go out the door!
As Spider-Man, to a degree, he's funny. I mean, he knows how to deliver the comedic dialogue. But then after a particular point, it just gets so annoying. Because like before, with the carjacking scene, he is just unloading on them left and right. And I'm just like, alright dude, I get it. Will you shut up? Please?
Yes. Alright, fine. Shut up!
It's nice to hear Spidey throwing some one-liners around. But there is more to the character than his comedic side. It's not all about the jokes. And just because he cracks more jokes in the costume doesn't make him the perfect Spider-Man. Okay? You don't agree with me?
I don't give a shit!
And the relationship between Peter and Gwen, that's another thing that people seem to be giving this movie a pass for. Like with the last movie. Are they good together? Yes. But the relationship? It's boring. And it's annoying this time. Before, just to go through it real quick, you don't really know why Gwen loves Peter all of a sudden. She just starts talking to him, he starts talking back to her, then they like each other, then they're kissing each other. What was up with that? It's basically as bad as this guy on Badass Digest says. You can check the link in the description below. It's basically beautiful people just flirting with each other. Are they good together? Yes. Is it charming, witty, realistic? Yeah. But is it emotional and memorable? Hell no! No! Though I will say, this time around, it's a little more bearable because at the end of the last movie, and spoiler alert for Amazing Spider-Man 1, when Captain Stacy died, he made Peter promise to stay away from Gwen in order to keep her safe, and he decided, alright, but then he decided to not keep that promise. Here, it seemed like they realized that it was a mistake, and you could tell because throughout the movie, he's haunted by Captain Stacy's ghost, and he struggles with trying to figure out whether or not he should be with her. But the way it's done here, this is not the kind of relationship I want to see in a superhero movie, or a movie in general, even though I know there are couples out there that behave like this, but this is not the kind of relationship that I root for. It's stupid and it's annoying, and I felt like I was watching something out of Beverly Hills 90210 or Seventh Heaven or something. Ugh. Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn, a lot of people were screaming perfect casting choice, which me, I was just kind of like, whatever. Here, I do think he makes a good Harry Osborn. He balances that creepy side and the best friend aspect of Harry Osborn, but by a particular point, it's just like, do I really care about this guy? Because his character, much like Electro, is rushed throughout the entire movie. And he is shoehorned into the movie at the last minute for that pivotal scene from the comics, which, if any of you know the comics, you could probably guess what it is, but I won't spoil it. Electro, I do like Jamie Foxx as an actor. Django Unchained, Collateral, Law-Abiding Citizen, which I kind of liked, and his brief appearance in Horrible Bosses. So yeah, I think he's a really good actor. But here, his scenes as Max Dillon were just really weird, and I thought I was watching something out of Batman Forever, and I couldn't tell if I was meant to feel sorry for him or just be creeped out. Even as Electro, I didn't find him that interesting. I mean, he looks really cool as Electro, but as a villain, no, didn't buy into it. And the action scenes, for a while they are fun to look at, but then, by the end of the movie, it looks like something out of a video game, and it just completely took me out of the movie. And I'm like, oh, that's nice to look at. And just a little thing here, for that pivotal scene that's in here from the comic books, I know a lot of people are going to say, but it's okay though, because Peter will learn his lesson about responsibility. Well, that right there is a problem, because you're basically saying you don't get the point of Uncle Ben's death. To quote Sam Gavin from Sam's channel, if all this had to happen for this guy to get the message, he missed his chance for change one too many times a long time ago. And I know I shouldn't compare to the original Sam Raimi movies, but I feel like I have to for these particular things in order to get my points across. The reason why the responsibility arc worked in the original Spider-Man, forget about Sandman for a second. You saw Peter make the irresponsible choice to let the thief go, find out his uncle died, chase after the killer, and find out that the killer and the thief were the exact same person. And he's so broken up by this, but then he has that revelation of power and responsibility. Is it unique? No. But is it effective? Definitely. That by the end of the movie, with his final line, "This is my gift, my curse," you buy the fact that Peter has learned his lesson. And the movie as a whole, not only is it messy and convoluted, but it just rushes through everything, that it doesn't give you enough time to breathe or digest any of it. There is one scene, though, where it actually slows down between Peter and Aunt May. Right there, I was just like, you know what? This could be good. This could be something special. But it just doesn't. Despite some really good acting in here, some fun action, it's just such a mess and convoluted, and it's just a disappointment. Me being a Spider-Man fan, I'm really sorry to say that. And you know what? I'm not exactly that excited for Amazing Spider-Man 3. So, I don't want to be too hard on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen. There's a lot of worse stuff out there. It's not as bad as Jack and Jill, but it's definitely not as good as Captain America Winter Soldier. That's all I gotta say. For any of you who are watching, if you saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2, let me know what you think down below, and till next time, guys, Godspeed, Spider-Man.